Hello and welcome to the 777 Dokkan podcast. I'm AJ. I love Dokkan because I was stuck in a really bad Legends addiction. I'm gonna call it an addiction because that shit was ass. Um, and I find it more fun to pop bubbles and think about who goes in what slot than to have to deal with passive play from another person. I can play the game how I
Type
want,
shit.
you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Hello everyone. My name is Beam, aka Beam Don't Miss. I'm coming from the Legends community straight to Dokkan. I used to be really fucking into Legends. Like I had, what was it? I think 28 God ranks before I stopped playing. I was wailing on the game. I decided to give it a break like around the start of this year type shit. And I just started getting into Dokkan, and I gotta say it's the best investment I've made in my life. Definitely way better than the 3.5 years I spent on Legends. And like as a newcomer, it's it's pretty fun to play this game. I like playing this game, so I decided why not come up here and talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that UMV had you different, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that fucking guy.
Alright, my name is Slim. I've been playing. I made my account, like fourth Annie? But I was kind of
Damn.
dumb, so I couldn't figure out how to actually awaken anything. I just couldn't beat any Dokkan events. So then I had to. I just left the game and then came back during like seventh Annie. The drop of the 7 years. That was a time. Since then, that's when I've been into Dokkan. When I actually learned how to really play the game in like eighth year, though, that's I just find it a lot more enjoyable than Legends. I don't have to worry about like balancing issues because I mean, there here and there, the only balance issues you really have is like I guess you could call it overtuned bosses, but they always drop something to fight them. If you get what I
Right,
mean.
Right.
I just like how I get to sit there and kind of strategize. I'm gonna do this rather than like I hop into Legends and it's just, oh yeah, UMV. Oh yeah. I
Oh,
just can't wait to
now
just
there's
hit him one time and just get my balls fondled.
yeah, of course. That's a great way to put it, man. For sure. But, now that there's like a, big green, I mean, is he Hitler? I think he's Hitler.
I was gonna say, I
From what
mean,
I've
right
seen from
now
the Go
he
Rush
has
videos.
crazy damage from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh, Ultra Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
cellular.
Let's just say I stopped playing at the right time.
Yeah, for
I'll say
sure.
that then.
I sold my old account for $300. That shit was. I actually kind of got glazed
Got
on
a
that
bag off
price.
that.
That was a bag. That was a bag. Then I bought Sparking Zero, which was great investment of my money, man, for sure.
Wait, hold on. No. There has to be fucking context to this, cause you're not putting the full story, my nigga. Your account was damn near just as bad as mine, and you sold all
Yeah,
like
yeah,
holy shit, dude. You somehow got $300 out of that. I don't
yeah.
fucking understand how.
We take it though. I mean, my account was like half whale, half just me being lucky, like as it usually is. I'm the single summon demon. We know
Oh
this.
yeah, let's not talk about his Dokkan
On
scenes.
both
You've been
fucking
getting glazed
games.
all Annie, bro. You've been getting glazed all Annie. This dude rainbowed his Gogeta off of singles.
Yeah, I got him twice on singles. That shit was that's spectacular, right? Then I pulled my second copy of Forku off a single off of Black Rift. I could have gotten Evo. It's crazy.
Didn't you? No way. Didn't you do that one time and you just? I think yeah. You were in here and you bought some Dragon Stones for a rotation and
I
then you
did.
just literally got a was it a Rift or a Zenos and you
I
got
got
you got
both.
Evo off of it.
I got
God,
for Evo it was the Zeno. For Forku it was the Rift.
curse of
Jeez,
Evo,
man.
bro.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
don't
yeah.
don't don't talk to Beam about his.
Not in front of me. Not in front of me.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
It's
right.
You
alright.
know what?
I walked out with a 90% Evo before one
I
Forku.
was gonna say AJ is practically in this, almost in the same boat.
I
I
didn't
wouldn't
have to
say
pity
practically.
Forku.
Never
I didn't.
mind.
I didn't have to pity him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Background
was
knowledge,
that was
right?
crazy.
Like, all right, so I first come into the game, right? Like, Forku is the reason why I downloaded Dokkan, right? Like, the sole reason why I even wanted to play the fucking game. And fresh account, right? On a fresh account, there's a lot of stones at your disposal. I had to fucking pity him. I had to pity him while I was rainbowing Evo,
Oh
bro. I
no.
rainbowed Evo. Like, that shit is unheard of, bro.
Guy spawned into
Unheard
the
of.
game and
The
had to drop
biggest, like,
2,500 stones just to get Forku once.
the biggest Vegeta dick rider I know didn't pull a single Evo, by the way.
Bro, you can.
Yeah.
I promise. I literally almost quit the game, just
that's
right then and there.
Yeah, but that same Vegeta Glazer, did he actually pull Forku though? I thought he wished him.
No, he wished. No, he wished Forku. You're right. He almost wished
He did?
SCR. He almost wished Evo.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He wished Forku, but this was the one time where he knew right between right and wrong.
Yeah,
For
man.
sure.
Int UI. Int UI. With his redstone.
You can't lie though. That was us.
No, that was
him,
absolutely
but-
us. That was absolutely
I mean,
us.
he
but it's
kind of
alright.
deserved it. This is
Yeah.
like what 20 minutes trying to find how to change a wallpaper.
Yeah, no, that's that. He.
That was
Yeah, he's
something.
an
That
intelligent
was
human being.
spectacle.
He's an intelligent human being. We're getting off track.
Specimen.
We're getting off track. What we're doing today is we're each sharing between 5 to 10 hot takes because somebody couldn't come up with 10. You know, do we want to start with like a Diamond Vegeta hot take? Because we each have one Diamond Vegeta hot take.
I'm thinking we probably save those for last.
For last? Alright. So, you want me to start off small? Because I'll start off small. This one's kind of cold hot. I don't know. Depends on who you are. But, Super Easy A Gogeta is better than Super Easy A Super Vegeta. Like, bar none.
I mean,
yeah.
I can
Yeah.
I can probably hear it mostly because that Gogeta has guard. I mean, it just depends on the boss. I'd say really.
Yep, I mean,
Sometimes-
I guess, but, you know,
Because like, all right. Because the thing is, right, with that Gogeta, you know, I've had some times with him. I kind of like went into that what was it? It's the Vegeta story Jiren fight, and I went in there and I didn't even get past Toppo because my Gogeta just forgot to guard, and yeah, it just took 100k in normal. That was not funny. I gave him like 3 or 4 rainbow orbs, and it wasn't it.
See, like the thing about Super Vegito is, right? Like, you know, he does seem all right kit wise,
On
but
paper.
then you put it into practice and all right, why are you in slot 2 taking 1 million from a super, bro? Like okay, so I just want to give a brief background on this garbage ass unit, right? So I was conned, right? Basically conned by someone who's been playing the game longer than me to use one of my redstones on Super Vegeta. so I do it.
Yo, it
I
doesn't,
do it, right?
it doesn't help that guy's a Vegito dick rider. It does not help.
I mean, I should have known, right?
You
But
should have known.
I take him into Battle Harden, right, against the DBZ stage, and Vegeta does his AoE, and he's taking 2.1, man. Like I don't like. What do you want me to do about it, bro?
Give him normals. Give him scouters.
Oh, yeah, hey, 80% damage
Yeah.
reduction against normals, baby. Let's
And
go.
And then just the standard old 40 for supers. Give me normals. Give me scouter.
His counters aren't even that fucking good. Can we talk about it? Like
No, they aren't.
What is the multiplier on it?
Let me check.
It's tremendous power.
It's tremendous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brother. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
brother.
it's like units that we've had even in 2024 were doing tremendous, but it was fine because you know they just had like the high enough numbers. To
Yeah, but
justify
this is
it.
2020
you remember-
fucking 5.
I was gonna say, do you remember Tech UI on release? How his
Yeah.
counters were actually like crazy,
Ridiculous,
but it
because-
was tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just have 10th Annie,
Ferocious.
10th Annie Super Easy A. It's tremendous, and it just does barely anything.
And I mean, it's not comparable to Tech Super Vegito because he's in a league of his own when it comes to counters.
I was gonna say, I only don't like to talk about him with counters because he just like every time he gets hit, attack up, and then his multiplier is ferocious, which is I think like a 5 times multiplier, if I remember correctly, which is insane. It's just dead ass 5 times that number, but it's usually lower because of the damage reduction bosses have.
Right. Well,
All right. I'm thinking it's my turn.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Starting off very I don't care if niggas think this is hot. I think this is actually the truth. I think this should be a cold take. I believe that AGL Forku will be the best aging unit from this anniversary. Um,
Mhm.
and there's just a couple factors to it, right? Like Power Beyond Super Saiyan is a category that's gonna get buffs forever. Giant Ape Power isn't really gonna get frequent buffs like that, but for anyone who's been keeping up with the new series, we all know what should be coming this
Yeah,
year,
we
Oh
all know
yeah.
right?
this. We know this. We know
So
Oh
this.
yeah.
We know this.
there's that, and he's gonna
And
give him
someone.
more defense, and even a certain someone who just released Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? You
We'll
could
talk about him
argue
later.
that, well, we'll talk about him specifically later, but you can make the argument that him by himself, he's mid, he's alright, pretty okay, but alongside AGL Forku,
Oh hell yeah.
tanking everything, eating everything. He is damn near the GOAT in slot 1, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell niggas. Like, no
That's what I
matter
got for
what.
my hot take later when we get to him specifically, because I gotta highlight it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying though. Like Super Gogeta, really good, right? Really good. His support is damn near probably going to be timeless, right? That's fine. But in base, they can die. Super Vegito, really good right now. He's the reason why bosses have 1 billion HP right now. Not that great in base outside of the Vegeta side, which I really like personally. I really like the Vegeta side of that unit, but
He's a good
outside of them,
tank.
right? Like they can die. Forku, however, the way he's designed is that like even in dodge canceling fights where you're not even gonna get like his full use of the 4 turns of his 70% dodge, he can still hold it down in slot 2 because after he supers, he's fine. And then once you get to turn 5, you get
Well,
Great Ape out, you get your heal, and now you're buffing a unit in slot 1 most likely who's going to have maybe around like 60, 70, or 80% damage reduction, and they're going to live. And you can just keep that rotation for the whole fight. Like,
you make a
I don't
point
know.
of after he supers, he's fine. Against normals, sure, but if he has like a hard hitting super in slot 2, that, like, let's say dodge canceling, he has no dodge on him, he's going to eat that for at least 400k. Like a hard hitting super.
I mean,
Yeah.
it might just be death depending on who it is. Because the whole thing right now with him like not dying, you get 24 keys, so then that's also like, because remember he gets like a whole pile of like defense and like just stats in general off of like how much key you have. So at 24 key, it's like best you can get him, but it's pretty
Right.
free because of how much key he gets per
Yeah,
orb.
he gets
It's
key,
just
just
like
key,
these
key.
like if these bosses like spawn doing some really hard hits, which most of them don't right now, then yeah,
Right.
he could get caught if he doesn't dodge that super. He's
Another thing.
most of the time fine though.
Yeah. And like one more thing before I move on, I know I'm taking a long time on this.
All
I
good.
think he's good in all forms of content, and I think that is also something to look at. He's good in long fights, he's good in shorter fights.
Simply because of the
He's
great ape.
just he's just super consistent, really good. I think he's gonna age the best out of all the
He was the
releases.
absolute goat for me in Formidable Foes. Because, like, let's say I started I ended the fight off on low HP, and he comes in first slot, like, first turn. He's pop hit Great Ape, and I'm back to, like, 80%. It's great.
Right. Right.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. Yeah.
He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. For sure. I won't doubt that. Alright, Slim,
Alright.
you're up.
All right. Well, my first take for today, since we're gonna save that certain somebody for later in this episode, I'm just gonna start off saying that while he is still good, Beast is getting annoying to run. I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it,
Absolutely.
it's just getting to a point, bro.
Wake
Like
up,
I mean,
Beast.
like I get it because it's like, well, yeah, a whole year by now, like he should have already been able to take some time off. But it's just he was just that far ahead of his time where we're still getting units put out, and he's still in the top, I mean, with the way Forku has been getting a bunch of Giant A Power and Pyro Beyond Super Saiyan buffs, maybe you could argue Forku to 5 now, but you get what I mean, like Beast, like 5 or 6.
I have Forku at
Like
4.
Oh,
Forku at 4, that's
Oh.
certainly something. That'll be that'll be the next hot take after mine. But yeah, Beast, it's just getting to a point. Like I mean, to be fair though, that wake up Beast situation, that was like Beast hadn't had his full build up, and he supered, and it was a 6.8 million super, and he tanked like 6 million of that. But it's just like the fact that I have to worry about getting him built up in time, and also
right.
just the fact that it's like, once that turn 5 passes, this guy cannot slot 1 for his life. Like, holy,
Yeah.
he's just a slot 2 merchant, which just gets rid of like most of his utility.
I just start
Yeah.
floating
It's
him
sad.
personally.
I mean, depending on the team I'm running, that's exactly what I do.
I just don't run him
just-
anymore. Personally.
The only times that I do run him, I have to run someone that it's like passing the torch down type of unit, where it's like,
Right.
like someone like Int Namika, where it's like, oh brother Beast, why are you getting hit by why are you taking damage from this normal? So I just have
Yeah.
to put Int Namiku there, and then
And he's
takes
good.
over.
He's good. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that's another hot take I have coming up, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think
what-
that was most of what I'm saying. Is just it's getting to a point with Beast. Like I barely run him at this point. It's just getting annoying.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like all we have now is these long fights. Like the only real place you're getting most of his utility is Battle Harden, and then just
Right.
now, what I just said, the wake up Beast situation, where while his intro wasn't done, I just went through it too fast and didn't have his build up, so he just
You got fucked.
Yeah,
he
that's
got
just how
yeah.
it is.
body slammed. It's like I
Yeah.
just running Beast. I can't, man. It's literally getting to a point.
Poor guy, man.
One thing
It's
I
just-
wanna.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I
My
was
fault.
gonna make one more point when it comes to Beast. It's just the content.
Yeah.
The content we have is evolving and changing, and Beast just can't keep up.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say basically the same thing, right? Like fights are getting longer, and most of the harder fights in the game right now are ending in, or just are AGL bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Zone Blue Goku, the 1.5 billion HP, your STR, you crit, yes, but you aren't effective against all types. Like, eventually he's going to take damage, especially with a boss like that who's always going to like hit hard as the fight progresses. Like,
And get hit.
he's going to take damage.
That's Vegeta, actually. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. But
But-
yeah, that's just the point I wanted to make.
Mm. All right, is that it for your take, Slim?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I got one you're not gonna like.
Oh, I
physical-
know. We're about to get nitty gritty with it.
Physical
Here we go.
Gohan is closer to the top 5 than he is the bottom 10.
Hmm.
He's that good. He is that good. Listen, when bosses are starting to get more and more and more HP, you're gonna want to keep cranking like 50 million damage. You want to end the fight as quickly as you possibly can, especially in those Vegeta and Goku fights, because billions and billions and billions of HP. He can hold down slot 2 without dying. He's
Oh, of course.
just great. He's a great unit. Beginning of the turn, he's cranking out like 5 supers, but that's not where he shines, right? He's post turn 5. All that damage. Whew. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
and obviously you have his nuclear bomb active skill. And I remember it being downplayed to being worse than Goku and Frieza's nuke, or quote unquote nuke.
Oh no.
That's
No.
insane work.
Yeah.
I want to know where you found that. Was that Dokkan Twitter?
No, it was not. It was actually in the VC Night of Reveals. We were all
Oh.
like, yeah, Goku and Frieza's active's gonna hit harder than Gohan's, but Gohan's still gonna be all right. We all thought Gohan was gonna be bad because we thought he was too restricted. We read it wrong, but no, he's fine. he's all good.
Yeah.
No, that dude has good options on his team, so you're
He
pretty
sure
much
does.
always gonna hit the requirement.
And he has a
I mean,
good leader skill.
He
Full power's
does.
good.
He does. I
Full
mean, there's
power
like
is
a few
good, though.
fights where I tried to take full power, but because one of their slot ones is Tech Broly, who is
If I actually
another
pull up my Dokkan unit
post turn
tier list.
5 victim, it just gets a little wishy washy. Just a few certain fights where it's just like Tech Broly can't handle it after like turn 5, and then
Yeah,
that's the only time where I'm like, ugh, yeah, let me get off of full power real quick. But
right.
other than that,
Right.
like he just overall has a really good team. 6 out of 7 links with Tech Broly. Does it get any better?
No, it does
Yeah.
not. Actually, speaking of which, I have Gohan over Tech Broly. I have Gohan over Beast, and I have Gohan over Buhan. In Buhan.
In Wuhan?
Yeah, he's in my top 10. He's that good.
I
If
mean,
I'm
I
wrong.
could see it over in Wuhan because of in Wuhan it's a little wishy washy with his defense. I mean, usually you just don't want him to get supered in general. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, but
But
he
it's
has
Yes,
no
like
but
problem living a super.
depending on his orbs, he should live
Yeah.
it for like rough damage, but you're alive.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he also just is, he does a bajillion damage, and that's always pretty good, right?
Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
cranking 40 million, just boom, boom, and then sometimes if you get lucky, he does a third one. You know?
But about your take though, AJ, I think I'm inclined to agree. I don't really know because I value defense in this game a lot. If you can tank, I don't give a fuck how much damage you're doing, right? Like that's important. You know what I'm saying? And for some forms of content, right? Beast, although it does run out, he has that. Tech Broly, although it does run out, he does have that, right? Like hypothetically, if you got like, let's say you're running, I don't know, Vegeto's team, right? And because Gohan is on Vegeto's team, and hypothetically you get a turn where it's double Vegito and Gohan. What do you do,
The
right?
bosses doesn't
You gotta
limit
Like,
that.
YOLO. You gotta
like
YOLO it.
you just gotta YOLO it, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm not saying he's bad because
Wait.
bro is
Oh.
doing a lot of fucking damage, especially at 55%. By the way, mine's is only one copy. I'm getting 70 mil attack stats on like fucking turn 9 or some shit. Like he's just going fucking crazy, right? He's gonna hit hard, but
hmm
defensively, I just don't think he's just as consistent as he probably should be. That's my opinion.
Right.
What
No, I
what
understand that.
what I think of the take myself, right? Because I mean, you know how I have Gohan. He's like pretty low in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's not that I think he's a bad unit. It's kind of just the main like not only the point that B made where it's just like like that slot 1 defense is so important. That's just like when you want to be in the big leagues, like you have to go in slot 1.
Right.
And then, Gohan is just like Gohan, he is just I'll take like in a maybe a way that I saw the truth describe him. He's just like like let's say you go up like S tier in terms of
Uh,
like how good you are at different things, right? Like Gohan is just A
hmm
in like everything. Like Gohan is just a straight
yeah,
A student. Like he's just everything that he does good. Because I mean,
yeah.
early game, it depends on the boss, but early game, I mean, Gohan can work in that slot 1 in that
He can't
desperate
slot one.
situation.
He can
I
do
mean,
it.
he gets his defense when receiving an attack, and then on top of that, he just has like permanent guard. So I mean, those like early turns, as long as it's not like some crazy boss like Tech Gogeta from like memorable battles,
Yep. I
like as
like to
long
use
as
him a
it's not
lot.
something that doesn't just like do that turn 1. I mean, you can YOLO him in slot 1. He might
Yeah,
take some damage, but he should live because these recent fights, I mean, these first phases are like mostly jokes, to be quite honest.
Right.
for sure.
I
I
just,
agree.
I just, I only don't have Gohan too high. Like I have him probably like 9 or 10 in general, just because he's a slot 2 champion, right? Like he is the king of kings in slot 2.
Oh my
But
god.
like just about everybody is good in slot 2, so it's just
Yeah,
it's nothing special if you get what I mean. Like it's the fact that he can't go in slot 1 like at all, except maybe like that one yellow turn like early game if you're fighting a boss with a baby first phase.
Hmm.
That's the main reason I don't have him so high, because it's
Like,
also like he doesn't have any team utility either. Like his damage is just phenomenal. I mean, like I had him on that double Glorio setup. He's 55%, and I showed y'all it's like 55% unit hitting almost 70 million because I have him
Yeah.
glazed on that double Glorio. You know what I mean? But it's just like that's all he's providing. Like he's a champion slot too that never dies, which is, I mean, that's fine, but I mean that's like just about everybody these days. And then he
Right.
doesn't have any team protection. That is another big problem that I had with, like, he's doing nothing to help the team. He's not really supporting. I mean, he's not
He's just
really,
individually
yeah, he's
very good.
yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. He's just an individually good unit, but he can't go in slot one, and he doesn't have any team protection, which is why I have him probably like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
was gonna mention this earlier. Like,
9 or 10.
you value team protection a lot, and I understand why. I value damage a lot. Like, that's just I guess it's like my monkey brain. Like, I see a huge number and I'm like, oh, oh.
No,
But
because I can't invalidate damage, because it's like, like damage. It is at a point where damage does matter now.
mhm.
I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to be doing like a whole like 50 million in one super to be good. I mean, you know what I mean? But it's just like 1 billion HP bosses, like what we literally just got. Did you guys see when I did that double Glorio run trying
Yeah.
to test out 3 Jita in what was it, the Blue Goku fight? That was 46 minutes of me straight playing the game. This is no like sidetracking. This is just me actually playing the game for like 46 minutes trying to kill this boss because he has 1.5 billion HP. But the damage just wasn't really there other than my Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the goat in my eyes, man. He's just like, if you need damage and you need to kill, like, I need to kill this phase, he's there. That's
Oh,
him.
yeah, he's
That's
just
all him.
active skill.
You just
Just
active skill.
That's it. Nuclear bomb.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
literally ran at that same fight that we like to keep referencing, where wake up beast. That
Yeah.
Gohan literally did. Like, I just popped his active and he instantly did over half of that phase's HP instantly in battle hard.
Like, it's nuts.
Which was like, I was like, whoa! I just started laughing. It was
And that's
funny.
why, like, he's good he's good for every bit of content.
Oh yeah,
Battle hardened.
because he's like, his defense is just. Hey, I'm like, again, like, yeah, slot 2 champion, which is like why my opinion of him comes down as well. But it's like, I
Not only
mean,
that,
whatever you bring him in, he's not dying.
he is
It's never
supported
his
by
fault.
Forku, and
It is
that's
never
all I
his
gotta
fault.
say. That's all I gotta
is-
say.
It is never his fault.
Nope.
Which is like, that's why I can see the argument for him being like higher in top 10. You get me?
Yeah.
I agree. The take is pretty hot though. Like the
Hmm.
close to top 5. But that's just my opinion on it. It's just like, like right before I move on. Yeah, that point about team protection. I mean, it's just one of those things, like, because in Jiren, that's a pretty prevalent fight right now, or and like physical Toppo, in like those Goku and Vegeta story universe survival sagas.
Yep.
It's just like we have that situation now where, I mean, yeah, you're running Forku because Forku's fucking awesome, right? But then your Forku gets locked in slot 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
And
run
the
is
run's
over.
over.
Your run is
The run's
over. Your run is over
Unless you get a lucky
like,
dodge.
have that real team protect. I mean, you either get that lucky dodge or you just got like some trump card team protector that's just like, okay, wait, I'll save you just this one turn, but you better make up for it
Or
later.
or the very last option, you just pop a Whis. You
Hey,
just pop a Whis.
hey, I love items. I love my items. I love my items.
That is always there, yeah.
All right, Beam. We did say on we lingered on that one a little bit.
All right,
You're up.
for sure. I'm gonna move quite fast with these. I think personally that Go Frieza is top 15. Not only that, right? I personally think that in some forms of content, right, like formidable foes or what's another short fight? Maybe like, I don't know, the Super Gogeta memorable battle, or like the
Oh.
one against Nemba as well. Like fights like those, I feel like they can be really, really, really prevalent, really dominant. In formidable foes, Go Frieza has a great chance to stun. So that basically just gets you through the first phase of the bosses, basically every singular time. And he's gonna be in slot. He's gonna be in slot 3. So as soon as you float him and get him on turn 4, Goku's out, and Goku's a good ass tank who's going to do what he has to do for the rest of the fight, which usually isn't for like another turn or two anyway. And then you're done, and you could just keep that rotation going into the next fight, right? Like I just think they're doing a lot. Frieza's 2-turn support, great, really good. As soon as Goku side comes out, I feel like Goku side isn't just a pure like slot 1. He can really be put anywhere. But if he's on the rotation and there are 2 other units that you definitely know are not tanking that hit, he's good in slot 1 as long as you get that rainbow orb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you get that rainbow orb, he's good. So
And that's not exactly the hardest thing to do when USS does have a rainbow orb changer. That fucking guy. But
That's I mean, is it really valid? Because that guy's orb changing,
it's for
he's
him.
kind of
We don't
eating
talk
every
about that
single orb
guy.
on the entire field.
Yeah, so
But I mean,
there's
nah,
that.
the one rainbow orb usually isn't hard, like you said. There's like even when you don't have an orb changer, there's like almost always some type of rainbow orb floating around.
And
on
not
the
only
field.
that, right? Like, let's say hypothetically there is absolutely none. You just pop Frieza's hand out, bro. You get a 77% heal, which I don't hear niggas talking about, by the way. They have a 77% heal, and you can literally just run Battle of Fate, right? Like,
Yeah.
like that shit is crazy. And on that same active, I think Goku gets attack buffs, and he's also orb changing for himself. So literally, if you just have 0 orbs, you could just pop you could just pop the active and boom, you got orbs now. Like, I don't know. I definitely think Frieza is a fish. Frieza can die. If he gets supered in slot 3, you're cooked,
you're dead.
right?
It's over.
But
Yeah.
absolutely, I think they're
Hold 'em.
100% overhated.
Unless you
They're
have a
definitely
miracle
overhated.
and, you're somehow below the HP threshold for that damage reduction. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think they're definitely overhated though, for sure. They're good.
And it's not like you're really going to be popping the Miracle Universe 7 ever unless you really want that KO Scream when they're at like 2 HP.
You're never gonna go to Frieza side
Yeah.
when Goku's out, ever.
Unless, actually, you made a point yesterday, I think. The only time you could really go into Frieza's side if there's no attacks in slot 2 and you really need
Yeah.
that damage.
Yes, that as
Yeah.
well, because Frieza can do. I'm not gonna say a lot of damage, but he definitely. I've seen him hit like 32 mil attack stat on his like 24 key, like shit like that. Like,
And he does a bunch of
like,
additionals, so.
yeah, he gets 2 additionals for every superclass ally, or is it
Extreme
crit with
class.
extreme class? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you don't really
Super
fucking utilize that, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's
Some
like.
stuff.
If he's actually doing damage, that's a free, like, what, 40 million off the boss? Like, I don't know. I just think they're better than what people think they are.
At least he's getting, guaranteed numbers on like a certain USS unit that dropped during this anniversary, At least he's guaranteed something.
Yeah. That guy.
God, I fucking hate STR Evo. Alright. Alright.
That could be one of my takes right there. But yeah, I mean, I can hear it. It just my biggest thing with them, like I can definitely see all of the arguments you just made. My biggest thing with them is literally just if you get to turn 4, because it really they're situational. Like Go Frieza, it's really dependent on the fight. Like Battle Hardened, like you just said, like they could really do something because like spawn in and just stun the boss. So I mean that's just like free Goku. But you just go into something like a red zone where you just literally can't stun. It's like please,
Yeah,
please don't fondle my balls before turn 4, please God.
What's with you and ball fondling?
it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
What's with you and ball fondling? What's up with you?
All right, bro.
You're the one who said it. What the fuck are you talking about?
Alright, that's how the boss treats you when you have a unit like Go Frieza and you just get super and you just take like 3 million damage.
Yeah, I guess you do get your balls fondled. But all right, what do you got first, Slim?
I think the Super Easy A Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta that just dropped sucks. Just straight up. It just
Oh, okay.
sucks. Like
Okay.
this is just I mean, I tried to test him myself, to be quite honest. You know, I took him to a little couple places. I think I tried to take him to a red zone, or was it Battle Harden? I don't remember. But he pretty much immediately took like 700k pre-slot one,
Jeez, man.
80% damage reduction. You know, you would think it's good, but it's literally just the fact that he has no start of turn defense whatsoever. I think that really, I think like they mega gimped him with that. I feel like he's a Forku victim, not as in
Mm-hmm.
just like quite literally, you know, like Forku, please save me, Forku, you know, because it just I don't understand what it is with giving the unit all that damage reduction and then giving them no defense. Like it was
Right.
funny. It was funny maybe like last year. Like it was like you could do something with it, but now bosses just hit way too hard. Like we need that start of turn defense. But this Vegeta, you know, him being a super easy A, they gimped him. They made it so he only gets like most of his defense when he supers.
I think
After
that's
he supers, yeah, that guy might as well be immortal. You know, that's
yeah.
just yeah, that guy after he supers. But like I mean, that just means he sucks because you're not really gonna want him in slot one. But
Yeah.
then,
Right.
like slot two, what does he even do? Because his damage is literally nothing crazy. Slot three, I mean, why do you even have him there? You could just have like a floating support instead of him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
only thing he's doing there is just not dying. But I mean, like that's literally like this is like we're like this is just Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, like the Daima one. Like
All over
I mean,
again.
yeah, well, I mean, well, I'll get to him later because not gonna lie, I do think that guy is ridiculously overhated. Like I think some of it is deserved, but I think he's ridiculously over. But we'll get there. I'll talk about that. But yeah,
Right.
that Super Saiyan 3 like super easy. I mean, it's just there's no defense starting, so it's literally just you bring him on the team, and what does he even do? I mean, like every option on his team, there's his teams, and then he's just like a god damn it. I mean, I quite literally have nobody else. Like it's not just like a
Yeah.
oh, but you know, I would rather not. You know, I don't want to run this guy just in case. No, that Super Saiyan 3 Super Easy, that's literally just god damn it. I have quite literally no one else for this team.
Right. Right. I hear you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a point I just wanted to make about what you said about him being a Forku victim, right? Like I know you're not meaning it in the literal sense, but I
Yeah.
definitely feel like they did hold back a little bit because he is a power beyond Super Saiyan character. Like,
Oh yeah.
this just all translates back to my first point, right? Like this Vegeta has 90% damage reduction next to Forku, bro. Like
Yeah.
Portion.
like I don't
With
know, man.
40% with 40% stats to his defense. They give him some sort of stats, so that's just
Yeah.
4Q is too crazy for the game.
Yeah, I think that's just a testament to how good that unit is, rather than just this guy being ass. But I personally haven't used him, but looking at his kit, you know, I thought he would be okay. You know, 80% damage reduction for 10 turns. It's a lot of turns.
That is a
They,
lot of
they, they kind
turns.
of they're kind of thinking that you're gonna want to make use of all of that by keeping him on rotation. So, you know, you would hypothetically want to put him slot one, like maybe a couple times here and there. But if he's just getting blasted, then there's no point, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course.
Oh man. Well, um I got a hot take. This is like lava. Um
Oh,
Alright, here we go.
the tech
okay.
gods are not top 5. No, I'm gonna get
Wow.
crucified.
No.
I'm gonna get crucified. You're gonna crucify me.
Wow.
You're gonna
No.
crucify me. You're
Yeah.
gonna crucify
Let's
me.
see.
No.
Just let's act
Now,
civilized and at
let's
least
act.
like,
Let's.
try to
Can you
defend this.
like donut poll yet? I have Tech Vegeta over the gods. Now you gotta understand. You
Wow.
gotta understand. He's slot 1 forever. That guy is the fucking goat. All right, Ape is the fucking goat. You gotta
Oh, we're talking
understand
about
this.
yeah. Ape is good.
I have
Oh
him
yeah.
over. I have him
But
over the gods. The gods are 6. So I'm kind of cheating with my take, but like they're not in my top 5. Tech Vegeta's holding down slot 1 with Forku, might I add.
Uh,
You know, it all boils down to, well, Forku. He's an Ape Vegeta's an extension of Forku. How good Forku is. It's now you can say, oh well, the gods are also, supported by Forku, but at the same time, you're just
they
not
don't really.
slot 1 in the
I
gods.
hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Like they don't have any like damage reduction outside of their first appearance
Which is
in the
scary.
blues.
That is scary. That is very scary. And when bosses dodge cancel, they're not holding down slot 1. And they're very barely. I think they're going to be very scarily holding down slot 2 and 3 here in the future. They're just a unit that's not going to withstand time compared to the fucking goat Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Sorry, I kind of had his dick in my mouth for a second. I need to calm down.
This guy.
But I mean, what else? I mean, it's just when you can hold down slot 1 better than like a lot of these EZAs that come out. It's just you're the goat for that, and you have a giant form that like protects the team. Now, granted, it's harder to get it with Forku because Forku will heal, but it happens. It can happen, but
Yeah.
formidable foes, he's good. Long content, he's good. Any content, he's good. Takes AoEs perfectly. He's just, he's just that guy. He's just that guy.
I definitely agree with the fact that Ape Vegeta is good, right? Yeah, he's really good, but I just think what the gods can do and like how they can just fucking melt HP off any boss. They're doing a million supers that are all doing a gajillion damage, and like the only real, I would say, weakness to them is that they're primarily dodge, right? And we're just getting a lot more dodge canceling bosses. But at the same time, I don't know, because Ape Vegeta and the gods, in my opinion, I think they're all on like the best team in the game, which is Gogeta's team, right? Like Gogeta's team is clearly the best team in the game,
Absolutely.
without question. So I'm just really thinking about it, right? Like you're gonna have the fours on there, you're gonna have the gods on there, because I think the gods are definitely on the team. It's not like an option that you just sub them, right? I'm thinking about Ape, and I like him on the setup. It's just that what fucking the gods are doing and like what they can do in a fight, I don't know. Like I just said earlier, I prefer defense, and I like units that can survive, right? Who can, handle slot 1 and live. And Ape is that. He's the epitome of that. That's all he. I'm not gonna say that's all he does because he can do some damage too.
If
But
there's a Goku, he does even more than he already does before. And there's a
Right.
couple of Goku fights out there right now, so and that he's really good in that Goku Red Zone. For
Yeah,
example,
he is.
AGL boss,
'Cause-
he's not dying ever, and he's
For sure,
cranking
but-
out 35 millions. It's crazy.
And we can also look at the gods in that same fight as well, what people consider the hardest fight in the game. That is still an AGL boss, and even though the gods can't slot 1 tank that super, they're fine in slot 2. They don't die in slot 2, and they're melting his HP, melting it. Whereas with Ape, yeah, he's going slot 1. He's gonna give you a cool 20 mil attack stat, and then that's it. That's it. So like, I understand, right? I can understand the argument of Ape over the gods, but nah, bro. No, like that instance is the one time where I'm taking damage over defense because they're
Right.
doing way too much,
Right.
way too much. But that's me.
No,
though.
I
Slim,
get, and
you
I
have
get that,
anything?
and I get that.
What now? So now that Beam got that out, what I wanted to say about that take is I like Ape Vegeta, right? So he spawns in and he's just good, right?
Mhm.
He's just a consistent. He spawns in. He's slot 1 all game. He's enabled by Forku, right? So it's like
Yes.
cool, Forku. He might as well be immortal. The only problem I have a few problems with this take. The first thing that I wanted to put there is the gods are just a better slot 1 turn 1. We're just gonna get that out the way.
Well, yeah.
77% DR with guard, and they have
Yeah.
like the same start of turn defense as Vegeta. No question, they're just objectively better. It's turn 2, like that second turn where you can't quite fuse yet if you spawned in with them on like turn 1, because
Fuse,
if
you
it's
mean
turn 2,
transform?
then you could just instantly fuse after that. But anyways, you get into like turn 2, and for the actual fight, it's like turn 3, so they can't fuse yet, and it's just like all they have is guard. I'm gonna say that is mega duper reliant what type of opinion you have on that,
Hmm.
because I
Yeah.
have them rainbowed,
I
and
do
it's
too.
like I have them rainbowed, and it's like you're just wrong. Like they have so much defense by the time you get to that next turn. Like they can take damage, but they won't die. Like these current fights, like they're just not dying turn 2. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna take damage, but they're not gonna die turn 2. And then it's like turn 5 onward, you could just fuse at any time. Actually, matter of fact, they'll have so much defense by their third appearance, they just don't need to fuse. They'll just be better because they have that much defense. I mean, it's like, yeah, they got just guard, but I mean, they're immune to type advantage and disadvantage there because of that. And then on top of that, it's just like, what, you get to like turn 3, you got like over 2 million defense. It's like a
Yeah.
4 million super is not damaging you. It has to be
Mhm.
like 4.5 or something for you to actually feel it. Which I mean, by like turn 5, like that's not pretty common right now. I mean, even let's say like that memorable Gogeta fight, it's just turn 1, and then after that he just falls off. But
Right.
then like
Right.
these recent red zones, I mean, especially that Goku, because matter of fact, I don't think y'all knew that Goku is only hitting for like 3.6 million per super, which is not a lot. I mean, that's
No, that is
literally
not a lot. That is
per
baby numbers.
turn 2. I mean, you're just not dying in slot 1. I mean, just guard. They've got like up 1.5 million defense or something. They're just not taking damage from that. So it's just like the other point that I wanted to make is like, okay, enabled by Forku, like you get Forku there, and that Vegeta is just you might as well be immortal. Like we're just gonna
Hmm.
put that there, right? But then
Mhm.
that other problem is, I mean, the turn 4 argument. I mean, gods. I mean, like for both of them, like you hit turn 4 and gods fused is just better than ape with Forku there, because it's like he has that crazy damage reduction, but they just have that much defense. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
they literally just reach that point. But that's my view on it because mine are rainbowed. As for
Yeah.
like,
I
let's say
mean,
you have
I
them at
have
like
them rainbow too.
55, I don't know. Maybe I would think maybe at like 55, maybe you'd put Ape Vegeta over gods, because at 55 they probably don't stack as fast. That's a big thing with stackers, needing those dupes.
Right.
What
Well,
were you gonna say?
my thing is like I prefer a very consistent unit like Ape. Like Ape,
Mhm.
no matter what, will be slot 1. There is not a time where he's not slot 1. He's just he's too consistent for me to not like him over the gods. Because like, sure, the gods are like they're still like they're crazy. I'm not
Yeah.
discrediting the gods, but I think I'm more so crediting Ape more. If you catch my drift, like I just value how
I get.
consistent Ape is in
Yeah,
any
I get
content.
the point of consistency. I just, in my experience, the gods have they've just, that same consistency has been there, but with a higher peak. But it is, I mean, I do have them rainbowed, so my view could be a bit skewed. I can't speak on like 55, but it's like rainbow versus rainbow. I mean, yeah, I
You even
mean,
have the
Ape
rainbow
G, Ape,
TUR. It's
Ape,
crazy.
Ape G. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah, I do. Because the haunting every time they're on banner, the haunting every single time that they've ever been on banner, the haunting. They follow me, but it's just like, to me, just like with my rainbowed ones, they're just that consistency. I mean, like Ape Gita's start of turn defense, even rainbowed. I mean, just like it's at a point where it's like, if Forku's not there, he could start getting caught with the amount of damage that these bosses are doing. I mean, like you can load up like what, like like that physical topo or like the STR Jiren, like the
Or
Vegeta's side of
shit, second
Universe
phase
Survival
of
Saga.
Ribrianne does like 9 million, doesn't she, or some shit
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
she does, but
Yeah.
there's like almost nobody in the game that can live that anyway. So it's like, I mean, I don't know if we really want to talk on that one because I mean, it'll be like, oh yeah, Ape Cheetah dies to that 9 million super, and it's like, oh yeah, well, like basically everyone else in the entire game does as
Yeah.
well. Except for a certain unit. I mean, it's enabled by Forku, but AJ was there.
Yeah.
AJ knows what I'm talking about, and we'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. But no, it was glaze though. That's a mega
Yeah.
glaze setup. I
Yeah.
had 3 different glaze there to pull that off. But
Yeah.
he did live.
Double
But he did.
Glorio, 4-coup.
Doug, yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Ape Jita just like his start of turn defense even rainbowed from what I saw. Like the day he dropped, it was like what 400 and something K. It's
Yeah,
literally just like the 60 damage reduction and guard that's just mega carrying that. But it just like when our boss supers start getting a little higher, you can already kind of like feel the pain, like that's why
yeah,
I said like maybe
Do you
like
want
someone like
pain?
physical. All right.
Muffle.
Yeah, sound like that physical top or like that STR Jiren. That STR Jiren from Vegeta's story does like 5.6 million. That you feel that. Like when
yeah,
Forka's not there, you feel that. That hurts.
Absolutely.
So I don't have Abjita at the moment, so I can't have tested him with Forku to see try him without Forku and see how he does against that super. But I'd imagine it doesn't go so well, right? So it's just like, but then
yeah,
the gods is just like Forku doesn't need to be there, and then they're just always good. The only time that I'm gonna say that they can definitely get caught is like that turn 3. That's like you just got off of your intro. Your 77% damage reduction is gone, so you're just guard. And then depending on your percent, you probably don't have the defense to handle that super right after that.
right.
Yeah.
It depends on your percent. I mean, again, mine are rainbowed, so I have not run into this issue. But I know stackers love dupes. They just stack faster with copies. So it's like
This is true. This is
maybe
true.
maybe if you have them like 55, like maybe like that turn 2 is like a really worrisome turn for you. Like that second time those gods come out, they might get caught.
Yeah.
So I get it because what you said, like Ape Jita, like there's never that issue. Like he's just always good. So I get it, but I
Love that
think
guy,
the
man.
gods just do way too much, bro. It's like cracking out like 450 million supers, even 5 with hidden potential, like 4 or 5 50 million supers. The moment you just turn blue, oh yeah, it's over,
Absolutely. All right. Well.
and then they're just never dying.
Yeah. All right, Beam. What do you got for us?
Oh, I'm up.
You are up. You are
Oh,
up. That's all I had to say.
okay. Let's see. Which one do I want to go with here? Okay, I guess I can talk about this, right? Uh, Locking is the most toxic boss mechanic in the game, and I have a couple pointers alongside that, right? Dodge canceling can sometimes not even matter depending on the team. That's one thing I said. And another thing is that
Yeah.
AoEs can be dodged slash tanked. They can be,
Mhm.
right? Like I know a lot of people see AoEs and they just think it is the end of the world. And depending on the turn, it could be. But if you have 3 solid units who
They're fine.
can survive normals, they're fine. And the last thing I said was attack ceiling is barely impactful. I don't really think attack
Depending
ceiling
on the
is.
unit, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely unit
It's
dependent. Like if
annoying.
you
It's
want,
annoying. Like if your stacker unit gets attack seal, it's like well, there goes a stack for
yeah,
a turn. But
but
you know,
that shit is barely impactful, right? Whereas with locking, if your slot 3 gets locked in slot 1,
you're fucking
even if
cooked.
You die like straight up.
even if you don't
You need a
die, that
taunt.
fucks up your rotation for the entire fight. Like bosses can just choose, oh, you got a consistent rotation here. Nope. Bye. They can
Sorry,
just
buddy.
snatch that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to run Glorio slot 3? No, you didn't. Nah. Let's have him at slot 1, buddy. Let's put him in
You
slot
get
1.
you get that slot 1 unit locked in slot 3, and now you just literally don't have a slot 1 unit there for like 2 appearances.
It's like fuck.
Like, wow, your run
You're
is
fucked.
done.
You're fucked.
For the most part, I really agree with it. To be honest, I mean, we just have those scenarios. Like I just mentioned earlier, you get your AGL Forku locked in slot 1. What's your
Yeah.
next move?
I have one to one up
You
you.
you taunt or you die. This is just straight up.
Oh.
That
I have
slot
one. I have one to one up you
pounding.
actually. Well, I think it's on the same level. AOE supers. Those fucking suck.
AoE
Those
supers.
fucking
Oh,
Yeah.
suck.
No,
those
yeah,
fucking suck.
Those
Those
are
fucking
pretty
suck.
fucking annoying. Out of the two, it probably I'd honestly say maybe just between the two, the AOE supers might be a little more annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember when Battle Hardened had first dropped, and it was just
Whew.
Ape Jita,
Vegeta.
the gatekeeper of stage 3. You
Yeah.
just
Once
you
we got
either-
past
you
him,
either
it was straight shot. But what God, Abe Jita, man, that fucking guy.
you either just didn't get supered and like eliminated him as quickly as you could so you could get out of that AoE super phase,
Or you just died.
frame 1 supered and oh look, my slot 1 took it. Oh look, my slot 2 took some
Oh,
damage. Oh yeah,
my slot 3
died.
just fucking
My
died.
slot 3 just got obliterated. Like I
Yeah.
can't do anything. So I mean, I'd say it's ups and downs of both. I mean, I mostly agree with the locking though. Like that's literally just your run it's just done.
Fucked.
Like,
It's
You're
over.
but I feel like I feel like personally, I might agree more with AJ on those AOE supers because it's like AOEs, you can't stop AOEs. I mean, now we've got like, okay, let's say you're in a bad situation and your Super Gogeta gets locked, right? Like you're fusing Gogeta, like he just
Mhm.
gets locked. Okay, now you just fuse. He's immune to locking because he's immune to debuffs. So he just
True.
moved himself to slot 1. You could
That
save
is
that. I mean,
correct.
that is a pretty
That's
that
why
is a
he's the
pretty
fucking goat,
uncommon
man. I don't
situation.
know.
It's an uncommon situation. However, that is a counter to locking. Whereas AoE supers, taunts don't save that. The
Yeah.
It's
taunt
either you
doesn't
break
stop
it
AoEs.
or you don't.
You either attack break it or you just dodge it. I mean, like, and not everyone has dodge. We're not running Ultra Instinct units anymore.
Oh yeah, because the Ultra Instinct
they're
units
just-
dodge, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's just that too. I mean, they just don't dodge, and that's it. Your run is over. I mean, even if you were running all dodge, I mean, you just don't dodge, and that's it. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking more with the AoE supers, but I definitely hear the point on locking. Locking has to be one of the most infuriating things that I've come across in this whole game. Like the whole time that I've played it, oh my god, I just got my slot 1 unit locked in slot 3. I'm
God
dead.
damn it.
Like,
That's the
yeah,
run
like,
over.
oh well, I'm dead. Yeah, the run is over. I mean, what can I do?
Well, there's nothing we can do. Man.
Right.
Well, I think this is gonna be the last normal take because we want to get into the Vegeta takes, right? The recent shit.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Slim, you're up.
Actually, I have one more
Turn.
before I get to my Vegeta takes, but
No,
I'll do
I-
a 2-in-1.
I'm trying to remember what my other take was. I think it was a take about Ape Jita.
You don't have this written down? I fucking hate you, bro.
No,
I fucking hate you, bro.
that one I came up with on the fly. But Ape
Good day,
Jita,
man.
I feel like without Forku, he's already just in a bunch of these fights. Keyword
That's
rather
interesting.
than trash. It's just because like now we've just literally gotten these bosses that hit that hard. Like even on Easy A, we were kind of questioning it because of his start of turn defense, Rainbowed being only like 400k, which is like,
It's
Right.
I went and calculated
Certainly
it, and it was like
something.
a 4.5 million super from memorable Gogeta, and that would like almost kill him instantly. But we have bosses that do more than that now.
Right.
We have bosses that do more than that now, and his team protection, it's not really there unless you're running him without Forku. Because if you run him with Forku, you're just gonna get that healing every single time you have that threshold. You know, it's like you
Yeah.
got to be like below 40 health or something, or
Right.
like 44. But then
Yeah, 44%. Yeah.
Orko just like, yeah, you're not doing that because it immediately just heals you at that health anyway. So it's like if Jita's active, it's literally what does he even do? Because he doesn't do anything because you're always running Forku. And
Mhm.
then when you don't run Forku, he's just becoming susceptible to these supers. He already is susceptible to some of these supers. Like he's good, but just like that's like reasoning like that is like the only reason I don't exactly have him over Beast. I mean, he just like there's no utility outside of him being in slot one. Now, slot one is a good thing. I'm not saying slot one is a it's like what is that? But it's
Right.
like there's that,
Mhm.
so that he's up there with the big boys, and then like you're always running Forku, so his active is just never doing anything. And then if you're running him without Forku, you're just straight up susceptible to some of these supers. With Forku, I will say, I mean, he's just damn good. He's him.
Yeah.
That's like what 70 DR and that extra start of turn defense. I mean, now
With
he's
guard.
tanking everything, but yeah, exactly.
Right.
But now he's just like I mean, just with these fights that we've just been dropping, is like you have to have Forku. Like, why do I have to have that unit for my slot one to be good? You get what I mean?
Yeah. I hear you.
It's
Yeah.
just annoying because even that defense that he gets after getting hit, which also I will say is pretty annoying. Why is it after getting hit instead of when getting hit? That just kind of it literally makes it so his first hit is more vulnerable than anything.
Yeah.
So,
I hear
but
you.
it's just like his start
Mhm.
of turn defense is really what kind of like that's why I'm not so big on like coining him. Like I don't have him right now, but I like if I coined him and he was like 55 and I didn't even like the rainbow start of turn defense, it's like
Yeah.
what am I mean, it's just like I should be fine because it's like all I'm gonna run him on is like giant 8 power anyway, but it's just
Right.
it's just another case of like why do I have to run Forku? What is it with this power creep where I just like if I don't run Forku, I mean my slot one just sucks. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a
But
certain
that's just
someone
that's just
that we'll
for
get to later. A
yeah.
certain someone we'll get to later. But you get my point, right? I mean like
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously I'm willing to hear out what you guys have to say though. But it's that's my take on it.
No, I mean,
Um, you can go, AJ.
no.
You
I'm
good.
just saying. I mean, I got no comment.
I think one thing I do want to say about Vegeta though is right,
Yeah.
even with everything you just talked about, right? Like his starter turn defense not being too formidable, right? Like he hypothetically could get blown up if a boss is doing a lot of damage, right? It's just
Yeah.
that another thing is he can be susceptible, and he also really isn't doing too much outside of that, right? I don't know if that's crazy to say, but I was never really impressed with his damage, right? Because
Mhm.
in
Yeah, that
slot one,
well, that was another thing I forgot to mention because it's like if the enemy is not Goku, Now we're not gonna say like him cranking at 20 mil like without that Goku there. I mean, we're not gonna say that's bad, but like we're just
We
at a
are
point with
we're
this
getting to a
power.
point where
We're just
20
at a
million's
point
like
with this power
natural.
creep where it's just like 20 mil, like the bare minimum, dude. Like the bare
yeah,
minimum just to do damage. I mean, we got like threshold bosses running around too right now. Sometimes you
Hmm.
just see zero because you didn't crit.
Yeah, which is it's a little sad to see, but it
Yeah,
is what it is.
it's literally it's just what Beam said. Like he's just not doing anything outside of being in slot one.
yeah.
That's not a bad thing. It just like it's like
It's
you
not the
run him, and
greatest
then
thing
it's like
either.
Hmm.
I could have someone there that just actually does something. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
like if I ran someone like you know like I don't want to take away the point that Forku there because you're basically gonna always run him with him. I don't want to take away the fact that Forku would just make him practically immortal. Like that is an upside to him that he's just he's giant A power, so he's enabled that way. Just like
right.
individually, I mean, without him, it's like he came out and he was already susceptible to like the bigger supers.
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean, he got buffed with Forku, but it's like why does that unit have to be there? Like what about when I don't have Forku on rotation? Like I just got bad opening spawns and I have to fix my rotations now. This like I'm just running this this Vegeta who's like not dying, but also costing me a lot of my health in slot 1 until I get Forku over
Yeah,
there. And then
Mhm.
yeah.
after I get Forku, he's just like, he's fine.
All right.
But you got to go through the work to get him there. I hear
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
Yeah.
This is a nuclear bomb. This is my biggest nuke I have on my list. AGL Gogeta is better than Tech Vegeta, in my mind. I just
Mhm.
there's
I'm a civilized person, so I'm just gonna. I want to hear the points first.
my point. My point is we brought it up earlier. Immune to like everything. He's just immune to it.
That is
He
true.
will forever be slot 1. He has better defense than Vegito. I'm arguing even like taunt Vegito. I don't know. I don't know. There's a
Okay.
debate. There's a debate for it.
Can I ask a question?
Go
Are
ahead.
we talking about every singular part of the unit? Because I feel like if we're talking base forms, then
Well,
I
bases.
am not inclined to agree.
I don't
Are
know,
you?
cause
I was gonna.
I think Ghost Usher is kind of timeless. I just think that Ghost Usher is too good.
I agree with that. I mean, look at Fat Boo. We're in the Big 25, and he's still considered a good pull because I mean the utility is just there. It's you free revive just in case he actually sells, and then after he revives, gets the extra defense stacks, so he's just chilling from normals.
Like I
and,
received,
the Ghost Usher.
I said this in VC, and I received some great backlash from Mr. AGL Super Vegito himself. And I get it, that's his goat, but I just truly honestly think that AGL Gogeta is just better all rounder. And it's gonna get to the point where some fights are just gonna be Vegito's not gonna be cranking that damage like he used to at some point, because you're gonna need to stack defense with Vegeta. So that way, Vegeta doesn't fucking die. Because I've seen Vegeta explode. Very rarely, but he does explode.
Non-taunt
Yeah.
turns, and you have like no defense stacks.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't finish the fight within that one taunt, you're just using it to save yourself, but you didn't get
Yeah.
time to stack, and you just get hit by that big super. You just get.
But
walloped.
Gogeta, I've had him stack no defense at all, and he's done nothing but fine. And I don't know if that's like a dupe thing or just Gogeta gets damage reduction on his orbs and shit, and that's ridiculous.
I was gonna say that's the biggest thing is I wanna put it. How I look at them is pros and cons. Now I do have Vegito above, but I mean I'll get to that. It's not just like a instant bias, I'd say, but it's just like in a vacuum, right? No active. Gogeta is certainly the better unit. Like we have to get that out of the way. I mean, what the DR on orbs? I mean, he just literally sits in slot 1, just doesn't take damage, just straight up. I mean,
He will not die.
You don't have to pop his active. Get the glaze up.
And that active, man. Oh my god.
He will just go in slot 1, and he will just not die. This is just straight up. He will not die.
Yeah, for sure.
He'll crank 3 guaranteed. What like 30 million supers more depending on how much you were stacking.
Yeah.
It's just literally a guaranteed.
All crits.
Triple,
All crits,
exactly,
by the way.
That too.
All crits.
Guaranteed crit, triple guaranteed ultra super that does like 20, 30 million. I mean, could be more
It's
depending
crazy.
on how late in the fight, because maybe you stacked them more. But like let's say you just
I've seen him crank
fused them
80.
a little early. It's still like a good like 20 million, 30 million damage guaranteed off the bat. 3 supers doing that. I mean, that's just like that damage is just incomparable for some units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you obviously, if you run a double Gogeta turn, double Gogeta active, what boss is living that? Genuinely.
The double
Not
Gogeta
a lot.
active with the Vegito taunt, that's game over, but not for you.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
I
Vegito?
think
Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I didn't know.
No,
if you were done.
you're good. Just you started first. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, right, like when it comes to just the fusions versus fusions, I think Gogeta is better than Vegito, right? Like when we're comparing fusions, but base forms, and I guess you can kind of count this as, because this is definitely in my notes as a hot take, but I fucking hate the Vegeta side of Super Gogeta. some fucking garbage. Bad, bro.
I
Literally,
can't lie. That's so real. Like
That is, you're
right
not
after
wrong for
that
that.
intro runs out,
It's,
and you don't
ooh,
just
you
switch
gotta
to Goku for
fuse.
that defense stacking. Yeah, just please don't super me. Please don't super me. Please don't super
bro,
me. I'm on my hands and knees.
not even
It's
just
just not
that,
there.
bro. It's like, how do we go from having two different, like, they shouldn't have been designed so differently in base. Goku from Vegito, right?
Mhm.
90% damage reduction in slot 2 or 3. Like,
Immortal.
what the fuck? Vegeta side of that unit as well,
No
right?
damage reduction. Only guard. Only stats.
Only guard with a bunch of defense, and that extra bunch of defense only lasts those first two appearances.
Like, bro, getting to
First one
turn
if you filled him.
fucking 5 is such a chore with that unit, bro. Like, it honestly does depend, but I promise you it's so hard. I've never had this difficulty with Vegito, I'll say that much.
Mhm.
But with Gogeta in base, not a fan. Really don't like him.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest.
Gogeta when the boss
He
fucking dodge
insists upon himself.
cancels.
Insists
Go,
upon himself.
just Gogeta when the boss just dodge cancels off rip. I mean, just trying to bring out Gogeta in like that new Goku fight, right? You know, you hit your turn 5 and you can't use Goku for some defense stacking because he's dependent on 80% dodge that
Oh,
just
what do you mean?
gets
Just bring Tech
canceled.
UI.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, just bring Tech UI in 2025. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, bro.
just that's your favorite unit, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
For
yeah,
sure.
you two have a
Great
wonderful
history. Great history.
You two
Great.
have amazing chemistry even.
Can't stand that guy.
Oh yeah, but
He's
nah, like
fucking good.
I so agree with Beam. Like getting Vegito out, the only quote unquote chore is like that first turn that you like need to use Vegeta for defense stacking because that first turn will hurt. That
Yeah.
first turn,
Yeah,
it will hurt. Like that's just no question. You know, he doesn't have his defense. I mean, like he has the 70 DR and guard, but his defense is just actually that abysmally low that you feel it. You know.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
for
But
then
sure.
it's like
something.
after that first turn, then what? The boss is nothing after that
Well,
first turn. It's like
crushing the
what is
Patara in my eyes has absolutely nothing on Veku.
oh if that too. That's another pointer where it's just like, dude, like Veku. I mean,
Does damage. Is a ghost usher. Guaranteed dodge for how many turns? 3
guaranteed.
turns.
It's three
Yeah,
turns, so you
so
know, like two appearances. But it's just like in the not dodge canceling fights. I mean, that just like you just pop Veku and win. I
right.
mean,
Unrelenting kicks.
For sure. I also like the Goku side of Super Gogeta too, right? He does attack buff. I mean, not attack buff. He gives attack support,
Hmm.
whereas Vegeta gives defensive support. So you're gonna hit a little harder. Veku is really good. His utility in slot 1 is just dodge, but that's still good. Taking no damage is better than taking some. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I don't really know where I sit on this side of this discussion, right? Because I have such a bias against the base form of Super Gogeta, but
Right.
I can definitely understand points, right? Like Veku is cracked.
Mhm.
Goku side is good. Vegeta side,
No.
and but I mean he's serviceable, I guess. He does damage,
He sure
right? He
does. You
does
know,
damage.
Vegeta,
he sure does.
Vegeta's side, like the problem with that is just like Vegeta is like once that intro runs out, he's just a guaranteed like fish. Like you need to do some defense stacking with Goku, and then maybe you can come back to Vegeta, and he shouldn't die after supering because he does get a good amount of defense. Like once he supers, gets good defense, but it's like dude, like it's just not there after those like what first 3 turns like that intro it's just not there. Like you have to defense stack, you have to switch to Goku or you're basically dead. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so annoying. It's annoying. Like Vegito, I mean it's kind of the same switching to Vegeta, but it's like you're not dependent on dodge. You know, you're not a fish to a super. You know, the super
right.
will hurt you, but that's only like the first turn. Whereas like Gogeta's Goku is like, okay, 80% dodge, cool. You know, hypothetically you're better because you're just not taking damage, but then you just get hit by a super and you just die. straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
yeah,
just
for
you
sure.
just die. It's just so it just becomes a little bit of a hassle. Whereas like Vegito is just like it's like straightforward. I have
Yeah.
my couple of turns of immortality with my 90% damage reduction in
Hmm.
slot 2 with the Goku, and then Vegeta comes out and then he just doesn't die that first turn. He takes rough damage, but he doesn't die. And then like that turn onward, like because of the defense stacks that he got, he's just now a goat in slot 1,
Yeah.
dude. Like
Basically
he
immortal.
just sits there. He just sits there.
Yeah,
And you don't have to worry about him dying ever. Whereas like Goku on Super Gogeta, I mean, like I said, you fraud out on one dodge, or even the fight is dodge canceling, and
And he's
now you're
fucking
just stuck.
cooked.
You
Yeah.
just fucking you just suck.
Yeah, but I think Gogeta himself does make up for that really shitty ass base, just for being
I
that
mean, I
good.
see it because, like we said, he's just a better unit in a vacuum. I mean, he just sits in slot 1. There's just no chance of him dying. I mean, the rainbow orb changing, then you give him those rainbow orbs that he made, and then you just,
Hey,
you
I appreciate y'all
pop
hearing
off.
me out on that, because I got called fucking roadie in VC. That was like,
I would only call it a roadie level take if you like. Let's say you had like Gogeta at 1, and then you had
yeah.
like Vegito at like 3 or something. Then
Well,
yeah,
yeah, like
that's
that
well,
would be a roadie take. That would
well,
like. There's just no debate there.
Vegito
Now you're
is 3 on
saying
my
well
list.
because I know who you've got there. So, but I mean, it's just like the problem is just because of like the pros and cons of every single scenario with them. I mean, it's just like, for example, like we just said, in a vacuum, Gogeta's better. But
Mhm.
what about that taunt turn? What about that literally saving your entire? I mean, that is literally just Jesus, like, just holds out his hand for you. Oh my God, Forku got locked in slot 1. Jesus holds out his hand. I will save your run right here, right now. I will just end this dodge canceling
This is
phase with
true.
the Vegito damage on the counters and the taunt, and I will just taunt so you just can't
Right, but
die.
after that, what does he do?
Oh, I mean, I agree on that point. That's why I have them with pros and cons of both of them, because it's literally like after that taunt, it's like,
he's
yeah, I
just
mean,
there.
Yeah,
like,
he's
But
there.
yeah, he's just there. I mean, he probably won't die in slot 1. Depends how much you stacked. He might take some rough damage if he didn't do enough defense stacking, but he
Hmm.
shouldn't die. And then just like then he's not doing as much counters, so the damage is like, can't say negligible, because you can just line him up and he'll do something. He'll just still do something relatively silly compared to the rest of the units on the turn.
right,
But it's just like, all that's there is just him existing and like his support.
Right.
But I mean, he's vulnerable. It's
No
not
doubt in
like
my mind.
Gogeta. You could have just not even stacked defense. You
And he's
just
fine.
fuse and bring him out turn 1. Give him a couple rainbow orbs. Now he just can't die. Just straight up. He just
Love
can't
that
die.
guy, man. Absolutely love
I'm
that
pretty.
guy.
Can't he get over 100% damage reduction?
He probably could.
yeah,
That,
yes,
that that just adds to the point. It literally comes out immortal to literal launch from
And he
heroic
doesn't even need
battle.
an active.
She's scripted, by the way, to do the actual highest possible damage in the entire game. Like like way over damage cap, like just the actual game
Yeah.
limit of damage. And he won't take damage from it because he's got over 100% DR.
So
And if you
he's
can't
just the
take
goat,
damage
man.
from that, that's Jesus right there.
That's
right.
invulnerability. It's
Yeah, that's why I mean that's why I mostly see like the 1A 1B argument with them, because it's just they both have their moments.
yeah.
Gogeta's the better vacuum unit, but then Vegito definitely has the higher peak. I mean, you just taunt and the game is probably over.
Hmm.
Probably. It'll really depend on the fight now, because I mean, we have fights like this Goku 1.5 billion HP.
A lot of
Suddenly
health.
the
Yeah.
taunt is low key, like it's not buns, but it's not getting the fight done. Like
No.
Yeah,
you're just doing it, and you probably didn't even take off half his health unless you had Gogeta like right beside him
Yep.
to enable him.
All in
You know.
service for Gogeta.
But then
It's just
Gogeta at the same time, I can make the same point with all of that health. I mean, he's doing less
yeah.
damage than Vegito is, so it's just like, I mean, he's also kind of just there for these high health fights.
Right.
and you
There's
know what,
also
He's
Slim?
being a tank.
There's just one thing I just wanted to say, right? In that fight specifically, that you really want to save your fusions for when you absolutely know you need them. So you're going to have to go past turn 3 without these characters' broken abilities. And all I'm saying is,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
taking fucking Vegito. I'm taking Vegito every time, like, cause Vegeta side of Vegito, you just throw him in slot 1, he's good, man, and you can really just hold that until you want to bring Vegito out. Whereas Gogeta, post turn 3, right? I mean, hypothetically, you could just have Goku side out and you can, I don't know, hypothetically just put him in slot 2, maybe float him, but he's definitely not going slot 1. It's a dodge canceling boss. He's
Oh
dying,
yeah.
right? So, yeah, that was just another thing I just wanted to say.
Now you're good because I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's also fight dependent with these same points that we're making. This is again my reasoning for like 1A 1B. It's dependent on these fights. I mean, you go into let's say you take him for a spin and Vegeta instead of the Goku, right? You go into the Vegeta
Yeah,
fight. The Vegeta only supers in slot 1, so it's just like Vegito. I mean, he just goes in there and then he like does he needs someone to protect him because it's a guaranteed slot 1 super. It just always happens, so it's like I mean you're gonna need someone to protect him there, as is the case for both units. But it's just like then you go into Vegeta and it just gets to a point where Vegeta just doesn't take damage from that super anymore. I mean, he's like Vegito is truly just existing there like on the Vegito side,
yeah,
and nothing's
Hmm.
happening because he just won't take damage. And then like Goku, I mean, it's like Gogeta. I mean, he's also even better there too because you might not even need to switch to Goku's side. The amount of defense that they have after supering, I mean, they'll just live those normals.
Right.
Like that, like Vegeta, he'll just do his supers and then his defense isn't stacked up, but then Vegeta just doesn't do enough damage. It's literally just
right,
like this Goku fight where it's just like it just brings out like the need for like team variation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just like because you go to that Goku's fight and it's like Beam just said. I mean, it's a dodge canceling fight. Gogeta becomes a chore to use there, but then you go in the Vegeta fight and it's like he doesn't even need to defense stack. You could just sit there attack stacking all game because Vegeta's not gonna die to those normals,
yeah,
and then you just fuse, and then now you just obliterate the boss.
Yeah.
It's just it's becoming so situational. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think mainly the main reason that I do have Vegito over is simply just because that active it just feeds families. Like that active, I mean
yeah,
that's it's basically just a win button on
Yeah.
that fusion. Whereas you use Gogeta and it's not a win button. Like I'll just be real. It's like it's broken. Trust me, I'm
hmm
not trying to discredit that. It's that support is so insane, right? Like
hmm
it'll enable your other units to just obliterate the boss, but it's not a win button. However, it still also has the point that it buffs the whole turn instead of just being a taunt. So I mean, technically with AOE normals, you can save somebody that's a victim to AOE normals with that active
Yep.
too. That's another good point. But it like someone locked in slot 1, he's just not protecting him. That run is over. It'll
Hmm.
really depend on the unit. Maybe if it's like someone like your goat Super Saiyan 2 Gohan there. I mean, maybe with that glaze,
Hmm.
he can get enough defense to just like live with heavy damage.
Yeah, but you
But
certainly can YOLO him with some support, which is something I do love about Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
oh, of course. I mean, you need some busted support, but it's like you said. I mean, you can YOLO him sometimes he can hold it, like especially early game. Like he can really hold it. I mean, like you get a full rotation of like just the fusions in that Gohan. And it's like you can put Gohan there, and you're probably gonna live.
yeah,
Right.
I think we're getting sidetracked though, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think for me it's just the fact that Vegito's active is literally a win button. That's the biggest thing that I really value for Vegito. But I can
yeah,
say it's becoming situational. Like I wouldn't call Vegito like a clear one because you just have these fights that we're talking about where he's just like like this it's too much HP. Like you don't even want to fuse early because then it isn't a win button. You fused too
Yeah.
early, and you just
Yeah.
don't win. You just wasted your fusion. You wasted your taunt, and now you're gonna come late game to this max buffs version of the boss, and you're probably getting folded when
Cooked.
the
Cook.
boss has like 2 or 3 bars of HP left.
Yeah. Yeesh. Well, I have an idea here. Since we're nearing the end of the episode, Beam, I'm gonna have you start the Daima Goku takes, and then I'm gonna end on the
And
Daima.
Vegeta.
Yeah, same difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
I'll end on it. I know I got one extra take off compared to all you guys, but if you have any like last takes you want to get out after the Vegeta takes, go ahead, feel free. But
For sure.
we're gonna start on the Daima Vegeta takes now, just for now.
I,
Alrighty.
I'm getting. I can start with the Diamond Vegeta takes for sure. No
All right,
problem.
all right.
Let's see. Which one do I want to? Okay. I put right
Mm-hmm.
that Daima Vegeta has a space on the best team in the game, and I think he actually is pretty much core on it. Gogeta's team, successors, whatever the fuck you want to call it, gifted, whatever the fuck, right? Like his
Yeah.
team, I think the comp is pretty easy. I think it's double fusions, right? Gods,
Mm-hmm.
fours, Daima, and Forku.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. I think by himself, Daima Vegeta is pretty all right, right? Like he definitely should have been way better than what he was.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that the devs thought about the combination of just running him alongside someone who's going to
Forgo.
give him extra damage reduction in slot 1. You know
And
what
it
I
scared
mean?
them. And it scared them.
So yeah, I think that's just really my take on it, right? Like I think he definitely has a place there as just a slot 1. You sit here and you're gonna absorb most of the damage, right? Like because he does
Mm-hmm.
get touched, 70% damage reduction and what is it? Extra defense when receiving an attack, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's like
that's not
200%.
enough.
No.
You're still gonna take a lot of
And he's
damage.
only stacking for 3 turns on his supers, so.
And I'm also just thinking about it like this, right? Like on a hypothetical turn, like turn 3, for example, right? You got let's say you got the gods and the fours turn 1. Now they're
Right.
on turn 3, and Diamond Vegeta was in the 7th slot, right? Well, cool. Now you just have a slot 1 to protect them from getting killed in slot 1. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and not for nothing, right? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Bro's damage. I actually am inclined to think that he doesn't really do any, but
Oh no, he doesn't. Zero,
at-
zero,
I was gonna
zero,
say,
zero,
have you
zero.
seen him in those recent Goku and Vegeta fights? I mean, that Goku have a damage threshold?
Oh,
Zero,
he
he
does,
zero,
and he
zero,
does nothing
zero.
but 0. Yeah, yeah. So there's that, but I'm just thinking that in that fight specifically too, right? The thing that impressed me the most about him is that he was consistently living without the 4Q support. He was
Hmm.
living without it, and with it, he was taking double digits. So I think he's pretty all right, and I think he deserves a spot on the best team in the game. That's my
Hmm.
take.
Well, I'll get into that on my take because I have a take for that.
Yeah, I just want to like before I get to mine, I want to slightly piggyback off of Beam's take. It's like I think that like his spot there is fine, but it's just like my whole problem has to be with my own testing of him, which I mean I'll get into when I get to my take. But it's just I wouldn't run him over Go Tanks just straight up. Go
Hmm.
Tanks. At least I can, that slot 1 for those few turns, or like even
And then
just
you
that
can coin
first
flip.
turn,
My God,
and then
man, I
I
love
can just.
gambling.
I mean, even aside from the coin flip, because I don't like to gamble on it. It is
I do.
there. That is a point. You can gamble on it. So I mean, technically, he can just keep holding slot 1 as long as he lands it. I mean, aside from when he runs out of his intro damage reduction, because he can start taking damage from pre-slot 1 normals. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a little wishy-washy. But I mean, it's just like Diamond Vegeta is like I have to clarify it when I get to my take, but it just like some of these supers are just like he's not the option there to protect the fusions. He's just not.
Hmm.
Especially before that Forku comes out. No way. Like those first like 5 turns, it's rough.
Yeah. No, I
For
I
sure.
I mean,
I agree.
unless you want to go any further on Beam's point, AJ, I could just like relay it like right into my point to talk about
Yeah.
that.
No, all you, man. All
Uh,
you.
so my take is that he is incredibly overhated.
Mm.
Overhated.
Yeah.
However, it is not because he is some elite, like top 10, top 5 unit or anything. It's it's because he's so situational. When I was taking him for some testing, because you guys have seen like the double Glorio setup, the glaze, the supreme glaze, the double Glorio, the Forku. You've seen
Yes.
it, right? I take him. I go into these fights, right? And it's like, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of sitting here and I'm not expecting anything because we get the truth video and it's like, oh my god, he's garbage. I keep taking him into SDR Rose and he's just dying. And it's like, okay, the first thing I want to make about that is Rose is pretty cancer by himself. I mean, there's like barely any units in the game that deal with his super. I mean, he has 50% defense lowering, already starts off doing like 2.5 million damage, and then it just gets crazier if you don't kill him by a certain turn, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that point is, I mean, that's a little just kind of like anti Vegeta agenda with the STR Rose. I can't say it's not that he does live there or anything because I did test him. Every time I took him in there, he was dying. I don't think I even got Forku out to be able to just like, glaze him to see if with glaze he could live that. It just wasn't happening. I would be at that turn by like I would be at that phase like turn 3 or turn 4. So I mean it's literally just all Vegeta trying to be a goat without
Yeah.
the actual like Super Saiyan 4 beside him. And it's just like he's just dying, because he just doesn't have that start of turn. His start of turn defense is just incredibly bad, but he makes up for it because when he gets hit, he gets a tremendous amount of defense. I mean, like a multiplicative, like 200%. That's basically like
I'm so sorry. I
once
had to
an
go do
attack.
something real quick. I'm so sorry. I had to get up in the middle of the podcast. I'm so unprofessional. I apologize. Continue your point.
You're good. I was gonna say it's like when once he gets hit, now he has like 3 times the defense that he had
Mm.
at that moment. So it can be really crazy. I mean, especially with the glaze that I was using. I mean, by himself, do I think he's that impressive? Not really, because without the glaze, I mean, we've already seen all the gameplay. You just without that
Yeah.
support, especially without like that double Glorio, that Forku, like he takes some real stinker damage. Like you're kind of vulnerable after that first turn. I mean, you probably won't die, but you'll take damage. And then God forbid
Yeah.
you take him to an SDR boss because he doesn't have guard, so he just straight up takes like 1.5 times damage. You just like you can't. That's just another point to bring him down. Like he should have had guard, so he wouldn't have this issue. But I
For
think
sure.
it's just he is situationally really good. It's mostly those defense lowering bosses. Those defense lowering bosses, once they lower that defense, I mean, he doesn't start with much to begin with. I mean, gets a good amount, but it's not enough. Once he's receiving the attack, that
Mhm.
200% defense is still not enough because what he starts with is just horrid. So when he gets that lowered, then he has basically nothing to work with. You get me?
Yeah.
So is it that
Yeah.
that that that's where you get all the screenshots and like all the STR Rose, is a defense lowering boss. That defense lowering does hurt him. I mean, that's what was happening to me too. When I would take him to like bosses, even aside from STR Rose, you just that defense lowering, man, because he doesn't start with enough to make up for it when there's a defense lower. If it's not
Yeah.
defense lowering, he can be really crazy. I mean, seriously, with like when the boss doesn't do defense lowering. But I mean, those bosses are they're like uncommon, you know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
there for sure. Like you do come across them here and there, but it's like it's not like just a rare thing. So I can't really take that point off. Like I can't just say like, oh well, you don't really run into those too often anyway. So I mean, Vegeta's just always good. No,
No,
that's
you
Yeah.
just
do.
not the case. Oh, I know, But it's just like that's what I'm saying. But then when you don't fight those bosses, oh my god, this guy is literally better than well, that would be pretty silly to say, but he's tanking better than Beast outside of active, of course.
Hmm.
Of course. Of course, outside of active.
Yeah,
I had to
because the active,
specify that.
obviously,
'Cause, active with intro up is, that's a whole different monster.
yeah.
But I mean, like for example, that let's take that 46-minute run that I showed you guys, where I had the double Glorio and Forku with
Yeah.
3G to right.
Hmm.
It got to a point that Beast was the one taking damage from supers, and I can give you the screenshots if you want, unless you're willing to take my word
Right,
for it. Beast
because
was the one taking
Vegeta.
damage, and then Vegeta just took double digits all game,
Well,
even
yeah,
without
Yeah.
there's more
Forku like
longevity.
beside him. He just didn't take damage.
But yeah,
And
no,
then
I agree. There is way more longevity with Vegeta than Beast for sure, because his buffs don't go away. The only buff that goes away is his turn 1. That's it.
oh yeah, it's just like he's situational. I can't agree on the point of people trying to say that he sucks, because then it's just like, oh well, Ape Vegeta has like guard and DR. It's not much to ask that our other defensive tank gets it. Like Beast has it and Ape Vegeta has it. Surely 2025 release would have it, and it's like, well, if he had guard, he would just be too OP. Like we would have to gimp his
Yeah.
damage reduction that he has right now,
Hmm.
because he just gets that much defense when like once the boss aims at him. Because remember, it's when receiving an attack, not after. So he's just
Yeah.
good even on frame 1.
Right.
But it's just like, it's his whole problem that they did to balance him was just his start of turn defense just sucks. I mean, you get defense lowered and now you have nothing to work with. What's 200% to nothing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just get squashed. But then no defense lowering. I mean, dude, Ribrianne does
Y-
9 million, and I got him to tank that for 400k. And AJ was there,
Yeah.
so he can't say
Yeah.
I'm glazing.
You're
He
not
was
No, no,
glazing.
no.
there. That was a
Mine
free
has
slot
lived
one,
this.
9 million super, and
Technically,
he ate it.
Yeah.
you were glazing. Technically, with
No, no,
the
no, no,
units,
no,
but
no, of course, because I can't like remove the fact I did have him with Forku and Double Glorio. They were there, so I can't say that was like, because just him by himself, he would have died there. Like I'm just gonna have to be real, he would have died.
yeah.
But the fact that I could get him to do that, and then I saw Beast like what later in the not that same fight, but Beast 6.8 million super, and Beast supered first, and I mean he tanked 6 million of it, but he died to the other 800k.
Yeah.
It's just like this Vegeta is gonna age tremendously as long as defense lowering doesn't become every single boss.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
going to age good because he's always going to be a good option, except for defense lowering. No, that's why I said I feel like he's overhated. But I won't call him super elite either, because
He's
why are
not.
you this susceptible to defense lowering? I mean, basically any boss that has it just stomps on him. Just
Yeah.
like head in the curb, like
Like
that
teeth
that
ingrained in
defense.
it.
Yeah, and then I mean on top of that as well, like I'm running him with all this glaze to make him look extra good, and just to the same setup, getting clobbered in a defense lowering boss. It's just like he has the potential, but he just defense lowering. So
Yep.
I think he's situationally a true champion. However, his damage. His
Oh
damage,
boy. Oh boy.
there is no way to overlook the damage. Like I know I just went on this this praise, not that damage, bro. That damage 0 0 0 0 on these damage threshold bosses. 30%
Yeah.
chance to crit.
He's
Like
increasing the amount
are
of
we
time you're
real?
on that boss
Are we
by like 10
STR Evo?
minutes. Like
Oh, of course. Yeah,
basically.
exactly. That's my slot 1 doing literally no damage.
Hey,
He
but
just
guys.
he wasn't critting, and he's only doing like 12 million on
Once
his
Evo
attack
gets
stat.
all his supers, he crits.
Yeah. He'll at least crit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
If he gets there, if he does get there,
If he
Oh,
gets
that guy,
there,
he's such a shitter.
potential, man. Well, yeah,
Hey,
I
no,
feel like
you can't
Luigi-
give him the potential, man. That's Man in Black. That's my goat. That's Bardock.
That's true. That is true. The true potential man. You get that final blow. But yeah, three
Absolutely.
Vegeta. I feel like situationally he can be in an elite unit, but only for his defense. His damage, there's just no saving that. I
Mm.
mean, like he can do his one active turn where he finally gets over Go Frieza's damage threshold, and then it does, and then 30% crit, so it probably doesn't even do that anyway. You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely not.
like even if you give this guy Gogeta Glaze, he's not cooking.
And that's crazy.
It's just yeah, like even that Glaze, like the only part of him that's cooking is his defense, but I mean he doesn't need it because his defense is already
It's
like
all right.
fine unless it's defense lowering. Defense lowering, he'll just get squashed. But I mean, outside of that, he's just got his defense is just amazing. It's 70, 80% DR by Forku.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
He's just not dying. That it's just carrying him so good because he has all of that defense the moment he gets hit. It's just like the that damage, dude. We can't overlook that. We can't. It's like 12 millions consistently, except on his active when he can finally do like 15, 16 mil, and then
Yeah,
it just
man.
goes back down right
Yeah.
after that turn anyway.
He definitely doesn't. He should do a lot more damage than he is doing right now, right? Like I definitely feel like he definitely could have or should have been a stacking character,
Yeah.
but I mean, even without that, right? Like I wouldn't say his super attack effect isn't that bad either, because he does support, right? Like he does give 33% defense to
Oh
allies,
yeah, for
but
sure. That fucking ally at the back is literally just a baller.
Yeah.
but but
Yeah.
literally, right? Like it's that, and it's like we're only raising attack and defense by 33%. But by the time it says for 3 turns, right? By the time we
Hmm.
even get to his second appearance, where it's the third turn, we're getting this again. He's gonna do another super, and it's gonna be like what 14 million instead of 11. Whoa,
Oh,
Ooh.
oh my god!
whoa, dude,
Wow, we're still not
amazing.
damaging Go Frieza. 2024 fight.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Like,
Dokkan Fest TUR that is technically part of the anniversary, as most people are trying to cope, saying,
Well,
"Oh, but
he is the X
he's
part.
a part EX headliner," and it's like, well, he's not available on the Wish, and he has the normal monthly DFE coins,
This is true.
but for
yeah.
himself, this is I just can't count this as an anniversary headliner. You can't
This is
wish for
technically the
him.
first
He's not. He's not on
TUR of
any of the 10th
2025, right?
anniversary. He's not on any of the 10th anniversary social media. Every time you
Yeah.
see a post about the 10th anniversary, he's just not there. He
I think
has
he is the first
he has
20.
monthly DFE coins.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
but all of that. But I digress. But it's like 2025 DFE, and we'll cope that technically 10th anniversary DFE, and still not handling that washed ass 2024 fight. Go
Right.
Frieza. Like, are we dead ass right now? Like, seriously, and we can't even damage him unless it's active turn and we land the 30% crit. This is just abysmal. It's horseshit. Like,
Ridiculous, man.
there's
It
no
is
saving that.
pretty bad.
So
Well,
I can't. Like, defense is like, yeah, I have literally no point for that. It's terrible. It should have been way better. Stacking should have been maybe like 5 turns to make up for this.
For
well,
sure, man.
I have the first negative take about Daima Vegeta this podcast.
Yep.
Daima Vegeta will be the worst summonable Daima unit to ever come out. I'm predicting that. It's more of a prediction
Ever
than a hot
come
take.
out.
Yep.
Like as
Mhm.
in like the headliner of his own banner, or do you mean just
As a Daima
like,
unit in
because
general, a unit
it's
from
like
that series that is
because it's
summonable.
like what if we get a banner, right?
Hmm.
That's the main thing that I'm trying to think about. If we get a banner
Well,
unit, you're gonna call him worse than the banner unit.
all right. Well,
Is it gonna
Depends on
we'll
what the
depend on
chalk it
banner
up.
the
unit is
Yeah,
doing,
depends on that. But
I
That's true.
guess.
That's true.
for a headliner, he definitely will be the worst Daima headliner
Oh
to come
yeah,
out.
no, I agree. Because there's no way that they're gonna, I guess technically for any dub watchers, we won't say, but there's definitely characters coming, and you know they're not gonna mess them up because
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
that would put such a ridiculous put such a ridiculous image on like the how they view Daima as like branding, as like their
Yeah.
opportunity for Dragon Ball's comeback.
Yeah.
They're not gonna mess those units up like this. So I honestly, I'd say it is hot, but I do agree with it because I mean defense lowering is just that common right now. Unless we move away from these defense lowering fights, Vegeta's really
For
just
the
gonna
dub
be a forward
watchers,
option.
we'll say it's like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but with, one more bonus. One more bonus.
Just
One
like
more bonus indeed.
it's
I'm
like,
excited, man.
Vegeta, man. Vegeta, man.
God,
He,
it's
he
terrible.
He should have.
Terrible fate. Terrible fate.
He
but-
should have been better. I've made him look good, but that doesn't mean that he's elite. I've made
Right.
him live a 9 million super, but he's not elite. I mean, same like STR Rose. I mean, yeah, he's type disadvantaged, but again, it's like 50% defense lower, and literally no matter how I did that run, because I tried it like 3 or 4 times, no matter how I did it, that's still like a 700, 800k pre-slot 1, I just get
I'm
hit
sorry,
by
let me
that-
put a pause
by-
on this real
by that
quick.
frame 1 and I die. Yep.
Fellas, we are at the 1 hour and 45 mark. We overshot what we wanted to do, for sure. This was supposed to be an hour.
Whoops. I mean, hey, you could edit it.
Nah, it's
Yeah.
all cool. It's all cool. I'm just gonna make it an hour and 45. We had really good points this entire episode. Do we want to? I'm not gonna. I cut you off. Finish the thing, and then we'll get to the.
No. That was basically it. It just
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
cool.
he just his damage sucks, so he's just gonna be terrible. And then the other units
no
that
matter
come
what.
out, those other particular characters are gonna be good
Mhm.
defensively.
Yeah.
I see one that they could mess up, but it's just because there's the
Right.
possibility that he might be a yellow coin rather than a carnival. We'll talk
Yeah,
about this off. We'll talk about this off the podcast. No
of course.
spoilers for the
No
viewers.
spoilers just yet. Maybe episode 2 rolls around and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Before I start the outro, before we conclude things, I do want to kind of self plug. I am editing a Lethal Company video, and it should be coming out this next week. I'm gonna edit this first,
W's.
and we do have some fun on Lethal Company. It's just taking a while to subtitle. Absolutely hate it. But anything else? Any other points you guys want to make? Actually, I have one more point.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. I have to get this out there. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's top 1.
All right.
All right, I have to. I
We
have to say
We'll
it.
have to talk about that.
We'll have to talk about
another
this next
time.
week, but I
I
had to
disagree,
get one more out there.
but we'll have to talk about it.
We'll have to talk about it. Beam, you got me right. You have to agree with me. You have to agree with me. You have to. Yo, I'm putting you on the spot. You're agreeing with me, bro.
Ooh,
On Beam's soul, he's agrees, bro.
flowing
this
lava
fucking guy,
take.
man.
Flowing lava take. Beam just shriveled up and disappeared. I think he just
Yeah.
Kamui his way out of that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Uh huh.
Calmly right out of it. Nice. All right. Well, gentlemen, that has been a very fun first episode. I look forward to doing this next week. Do you think we can do like a top 10? What do you guys think? We can discuss it.
Yeah. We could
We could do a top 10,
Do we want to
for sure.
do we want to do variations of top 10, or do you want to just start off with a top
Let's
10?
start. We can
units?
start off with a top 10, then we can deviate into it because I can screen record and we can move it around. We'll
Yeah,
have something to look
like
at.
top 10 units, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Well-
gonna be a tough one.
This has been the 777 Dokkan podcast, episode 1. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys did too.
Yes,
know.
we did.
course.
Well, I did. Great
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Good
no,
time.
I had fun. Those takes were certainly something to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, for sure. I knew your brain was gonna like explode,
Oh, yeah.
as it usually does with my
I
takes.
mean, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. That just,
Of course.
I mean, more to discuss.
Of course. And you know what? I think we all got some good points across, and we
Yes,
said what we
sir.
wanted to say. So, any other comments that anybody else wants to say before I go ahead and end it off? If you guys want to plug anything.
I don't really got anything to plug. AGL Forku is just the goat. That's it.
Hey man, Tech Bardock top 1.
Ikari Broly same day.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool TUR. That
Ooh.
would be cool.
It would be, but
Nah,
it
I'm
would be,
joking.
but there's no hints at it. So I mean, that's just the. I mean, I just see the community randomly throwing it out. I'll just hop on it 'cause that's my goat.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not gonna say Goku and Bardock because I don't want them to be a TUR. We all know how the TURs are looking right now. But alrighty, it has been fun. This will be out obviously when you see it. So we will catch you guys in the next episode. Hopefully shorter. Because we did yap
do that.
quite a bit. We were supposed to do
Yeah.
10 of these. We each got like 5 off.
God.
Yeah,
Yo,
we're
Dave was
fucking
not wrong.
yapping.
Yo, Dave was not wrong. Alrighty.